Why don't you tell me what brought you to Singapore and a little bit about positivity or positive energy? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now I'm like half of my career abroad. I spent 2 years in Sweden and then 3 years in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for 10 years for a multinational in the energy sector. And then I wanted to maybe become an entrepreneur. I don't know why. It was, something you want to do once in your life. And
Right.
you say, it seems something for me. I would like to try it. And so when I was in Hong Kong, I started looking, if I have to do it somewhere in Asia, where should I do it? And I did some research and I looked at the different ecosystem, and Hong Kong was not too bad, but it was the time it was not really there yet.
Yeah.
China was starting and it seems the most promising place.
When was this?
3 years ago.
Okay.
So, but I didn't feel I could make it in China.
Yeah.
I'm not Chinese. I don't speak fluently Chinese.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It's amazing how fast the startup ecosystem has changed, because prior to, as a hobby for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing the Tech in Shanghai podcast. So
Yes.
I interview founders and CEOs
Yes.
of tech companies in China and Shanghai. And I remember when I first started out, there was like no startup community. I went to a tiny co-working place to ask a couple of the guys like if I could talk to them about what they were doing, right? And they had small startups and they were trying to organize events and stuff. But just 3-4 short years later, it's transformed. The tech industry is in a huge boom, and it's incredibly popular to be involved in startups and in tech companies. And talk about places like this, co-working places. We went from nothing to, the way China goes is it's
Yes.
nothing, and then when people realize there's money to be made, it's
fast.
Yeah. And so there was a big co-working boom with WeWork and Naked Hub, but also local players who expand more quickly and have more funding and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, it changed. The landscape has changed dramatically over the last 3 or 4 years.
If you look at the number, it's amazing. The number of money that is pooled in the ecosystem. And I remember I saw a presentation from Tencent on how they drive their innovation ecosystem. And it's not only the money, but they are very smart the way they go about it, and
Sure.
they really try to get an edge on it. So very interesting. But anyway, I didn't feel that I couldn't make it in China.
Yeah.
So then I look the next promising place in Singapore, because of a lot of companies have regional headquarters. It's very open.
Yeah.
Still quite a fair amount of money coming in.
Yeah.
And some kind of openness to Asia. So I say, okay, if I have to do it, I have to do it. So that's why it brought me to Singapore.
Yeah.
And took me some time to get started. It took me also a lot of time to figure out what I'm going to do.
Sure. The age-old question, right?
Yeah. And after you start your project and it evolves and it changes a bit, you meet people, you meet new people. And after a year of getting really into the entrepreneurship job, now I think we have something. And now I work on Positive Energy. And we decided that we will see how we can use digital technology to facilitate the financing of renewable energy projects.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we want to accelerate the development of this technology in the region. And we believe there is an efficiency in the system and that our solution can solve it.
Yeah.